Kevlin here, and happy Fullmetal Alchemist month. I'm not too sure when or if this video is going to come out, and if it does, like, what order it's coming out in, but as you can clearly see, I am going to rank the Brotherhood characters in a tier list. I am impulsively making this video, so let's just start. I don't know how I'm going to rank them, if it's just by, like, usefulness, personality, fashion. I think I'm just going to kind of go with overall feeling. So let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Okay, first one we have is Scar. Scar's pretty cool. I really wish we got to know more of his pre-Civil War life and got to know his brother more. Because they didn't actually seem to get along. Like, they weren't, like, always at each other's throats, but they weren't as, like, normal brothers, I guess, as you would say, is like Edward and Alphonse, where they're always going at it, but they get along and defend each other when it comes down to it. Let's just put Scar in B right now. That's a solid right in the middle of the crossroads. Winry's dad, I don't think we ever got his name. I feel bad putting him in D, but we don't know that much about him other than he's Panako's son, Winry's dad, and he works as a doctor, and he went to Ishval. That's okay. I'm gonna put him in C. I feel like D is too harsh. Hohenheim. I had this conversation with Rosie. Hohenheim is a good person? Yeah. Is he a good dad? Not really, no. He could have... I wonder why he actually never wrote. Was it like a safety reason? Did he feel like it would endanger his family if someone saw his letters? Was he avidly being followed? It doesn't sound like in the show that the homunculi had knew or even seen him before. Like when Pride saw him in the tunnel, he's like, oh, you look like blah, 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 so you must be blah. So why didn't Hohenheim write? He could have at least written like, hey, I was at the north, the snow's really nice. Maybe send them a snow globe, or like, wish you were here. Like, I don't know. He could have written them. But I think, again, it's just kind of like Scar, where we know only as much as we can about them in the show, what that allows us to see. We only saw his flashback. He did have a flashback episode, but it only focused around his growth as an alchemist and not really as a person, I guess. Same thing with Scar. We only saw some pre or during the war, but it was only really two scenes of him trying to convince everyone else that we should leave or whatever, and then the other one where he and his brother are outside and Kimberly gets them, so it's like B. Father Cornello. I don't know, he's such an average villain, but yet he was good enough for the first episode or two that a lot of people kept watching. So, like, I don't know. I'm gonna put him in D, I guess. This ad is blocking. I think there's some... Yeah. Okay, Xiao Mei, the panda. I don't like this panda. I don't know why. I think mostly just because, like, I'm fine with animal companions that have, like, their own, like, personalities, I guess. Like, say, like, Disney movies, like... The animal companion is either the comic relief, like Mushu.
Dishonor on you! Dishonor on your cow!
Stop!
Or the voice of reason, kind of like the cricket from Mulan. I think that's why those two in Mulan worked together so well. Or you have kind of like the inner voice, I guess, like where the character's too nice, but... they are thinking it, like Pascal, and then Rapunzel and Pascal catch Flynn breaking in, and Pascal's like, let's just punch him in the face. But Xiao Mei, she is brave, and she's willing to stand by Mei Chang, but that's really about it. This panda, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think this panda has ever done anything besides try to defend Mei that one time when Father was coming at them. I don't think this panda has done any, like, clutch last minute saves. I don't think this panda has done anything super funny. This panda's just kind of a jerk to everyone besides Mei, and I'm not a fan, but not as bad as Cornello. Alright, Darius. Darius is actually pretty cool. all things considered. He came in like 2/3 of the way through the series, so that's saying something. I wish we got to know, I think a lot of these characters is more background than anything else. Like, I wish we got to know more about him in the military. Like, why did he enroll? Did he know Heinkel the entire time? Why did he get turned into a Chimera? Was he, like, reported dead? Did he do something like some criminal act, like steal from the mess hall or something? Or was he a criminal before and then they were gonna execute him, but they used him as experiments? Like, what was, and then he was enrolled in the military? Like, what was the story? I'm gonna put him in B. I like him better than the panda, but I don't have anyone in A tier. I might shift some of these around later. Isaac McDougal. Now, this is a character. I know he was pretty much made up just for the reintroduction of Brotherhood, but this is a character I would have loved more background on. Like, oh, like, he just shows up. Like, how did he find out about the Nationwide Transmutation Circle? Did he find out the same way that Hughes did? Where did he get a Philosopher's Stone? Why did he enroll in the military if he wasn't comfortable doing things that might be morally gray? He could have been like a police officer or like a alchemy teacher or something if he still wanted to use his alchemy and not hurt civilians. Like, I don't know. A part of me wants to put him in B, but I already think I have too many characters in B, but I feel bad putting him in C. I don't think he deserves to be put in C. I don't care. B's getting long. Okay. Mustang. Ooh, Roy Mustang. He's such an interesting character. He's very... I noticed in a lot of shows, especially like younger shows, like Fullmetal Alchemist isn't like a kid's show, like, and by that I mean like maybe like from like 5 to 12. Like, sure, there's people in that age bracket that watch it, but it's not specifically geared towards it, like, say, SpongeBob or Teen Titans or like other like large like fun but serious shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender. So a lot of those characters, whether it's those shows or actual kid shows, the characters just kind of fall into a handful of gimmicks and characteristics, like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which I love that show, but Blue is always the wild, insensitive one, and he's always getting into trouble. And then there's Mac, who is the more tame level mediator of the group. And then, of course, we have like the gentle giant like Eduardo, the crazy person Coco, and then the person that's way too nice, and then the crazy old woman. And it's like, it kind of just goes on. So this show does a really good job of having characters that have, again, a few core characteristics, but there's other aspects to them. Like, so Mustang, his whole game is that he wants to be Führer. But every single time we see him, he's not always saying, oh, I want to be leader, this is what I would change, blah, blah, blah. But we know he wants to do it. But he also has a very, like, driven side that we see during the Ishval War. Or he's always really good to his friends. Like, we see that when he talks to Hughes or his group. But he can be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Irresponsible when it comes to, I guess, love, because apparently he's been chasing women for a bit, like Havoc. I honestly never picked that up the first few watch-throughs of the show, but I guess apparently so, because his alchemy notes are disguised as like a dating notebook or something. But like that, again, that's not his whole thing. Plus, he's also just really tactical and smart too, and he uses what he has. I think he's just a good balance of realistic, but also just kind of like, how would I say, also like a serious leader, but like a goofy sweetheart, I guess. I hate saying the word goofy, but I feel like this is what Firestar from Warrior Cat started out in the first 3 books, where he was like an apprentice, and he was still kind of young and naive, and he was kind of funny and getting into trouble, but he still knew what he wanted to do, and he hated having his loyalty tested. So I'm going to put Mustang in A, just like I would put Firestar in A. He's a staple of the show. Ow, what is that? Okay, anyways, Dr. Marco, him as a character. Wait, I thought this list was in alphabetical order, because A is for Armstrong, B is for Barry, Bradley, Buccaneer. Why is Edward all the way down here? Is this by last name? I don't actually know how this is ordered. I think... No, it's not by last name, because Olivier is down here. She should be up there by Alex and Catherine. So I actually don't know. And it's not list of order of appearance. Anyway, I don't know. If you guys can figure that out, let me know. Okay. Now I'm wondering if this even has all of the characters. I don't think it does. I think we're missing a few people. Anyways, okay. Dr. Marco. I really wish he was given more of a role, I guess. He seemed like he could be an interesting character. At least how his character arc would have gone, where he becomes from fearful to maybe not like a 5-star warrior, but like he just feels more like he's redeeming himself, feels more comfortable being himself, and like redemption to him is very important, so him being able to feel like he can do that, I guess. We only really see it when he faces off against Envy with the others, and when he decides to travel with Scar and whatever they did. He's definitely not boring enough or bad enough to be a C, so I guess he's gonna go in B. Nina and I guess Alexander, because the other dogs are on this list. I do not see Alexander, so I'm ranking Nina and Alexander on this one together. Well, I like them better than Xiao Mei, that is definitely for sure. But I don't think, show-wise, they're definitely impactful enough to be in an A, but I don't think I can justify that. Even comparing it to 03, it's like, like, we got to see both of them, like, for, like, 6 episodes, but I'm like, B. Alphonse. I love Alphonse. Okay, how many people do you think I can avidly shove into S tier without making it look like I'm either playing favorites or just, being too lenient? Because I really like Alphonse. Now, I think I said it somewhere, because in 03, I really did like both the brothers, but I liked Alphonse more in 03, and I like Edward more in Brotherhood. I am going to stuff Alphonse in S, and you can't do anything to stop me because I don't feel like debating anymore. Same thing with Edward. I know he's the main character, but hear me out real quick. This isn't a hear me out cake. I shouldn't have to explain Edward to anyone. But in my defense, I'm not usually one person who's like, oh, I like main characters, like, because either they're written to be like the perfect poster boy or whatever, but like, let's just say, like, in Ben 10, Ben is not my favorite character. I don't hate him by any means at all. He's just not my favorite character in any of the series that he's in. Same thing with, like, Teen Titans. Like, yeah, Robin is supposed to be, like, the main character and whatever, but I always like Raven. So, yeah, there's a very few instances where I actually like the main character more than, say, like, the supporting cast, or, like, in Fire Emblem. I don't usually marry any of the main characters, like maybe Dimitri's an exemption, but usually it's like, oh, I'll marry like characters that no one really thinks about. Like, I'm not going to marry Xander or Diamant. Like, nothing wrong with them, especially if you like them, but I prefer like Henry or Zelkov or Pan. So, anyways, okay, I see Pride is on here twice, so I'm going to treat these as 2 separate characters. So this one's Pride, the actual sin, or the homunculus. He's an absolute menace, and every time he's on screen, it's like, oh no. He's not very smart, but there's something very cold and intimidating about him, and I wish I could pull that off, because he looks like he's probably about, like, anywhere between 7 and 10, and at this point, most 10-year-olds are taller and heavier than I am, so it's like, okay. I'm gonna stuff him in A. I said A. A is an apple, not B is in bread. Okay, I'm brain farting on names right now. Because there's the 4 Chimeras. We already ranked 1. There's 2, 3. Are we missing somebody? We are missing someone. Interesting. We're missing a few. Yeah, so this list is missing a few. Because I noticed we're missing Greedling, because I see Greed and I see Ling. I technically count Greedling as a 3rd character, I guess. Because I don't know why. I wish they used Greed's voice actor for the Philosopher's Stone inserted in a Ling. That way they'd feel a little more closer, I guess. And then I also noticed that we are missing one of Kimberly's bodyguards, because we got 1, right? Hold on. 1, no, I can't count. 1, 2, 3. We are missing 1. We are missing... I always confuse this guy and the other guy, the ones that fought Scar. I always forget Jerzo and Zampano, but we're missing 1. I think we're also missing... I'm just going to keep doing this list. But you're pretty cool. I'm going to stick you up here. Oh, it's Winry. I feel like Winry needs to go on A. I don't feel like that really needs an explanation. Okay, Trisha Elric. She's pretty much the secondary ball that got rolling in this show. But I don't feel like we knew enough about her other than she married Hohenheim, had 2 boys, lived in Resinville, I think her whole life, and then died. We didn't really get to see her at her highs and her lows, really, because, again, as a mom, you have to hold it together pretty well. I feel bad putting her in C, but I don't think I like her as much as anyone in B. Sorry. Sloth. I don't hate him. He's just boring. Like, he just looks like a Pokemon evolution of Envy, honestly, with the same, like, the hairstyle and not the full outfit, because even Gluttony has like a full bodysuit. Sloth has just like some pants and some like suspenders or like one of those weighted belts. We didn't really get to see too much of him, which may have been intentional because of his character, but I don't hate him as... I like these guys better. I guess I'll have to put him in D, just not because I don't like him, it's just he's kind of boring. Alright, the Slicer, who has 2 brothers, so... I'm probably just going to say C. I wish she had gotten more screen time. Maybe just a little bit. I think that is one thing that O3 did, was they broke up the Lab 5 into like 2.5, 3 episodes. Sig, someone who does not get enough credit. But am I going to be the one to give him the extra credit? Because he's not D. He's definitely higher than D. But he's not an A. So is he a B as in Buick or C as in Corolla? I like him better than everyone in C. I think I'll put him in B, at least for now. Shezka. Someone who faded out hardcore in Brotherhood, but probably was a little bit too prominent in O3. But again, I'm basing this mostly off of Brotherhood. As you can see, this is everyone's Brotherhood designs. I feel like the amount of impact and screen time she had belongs in C. So, I guess so. She's a sweet girl, and I think she's funny, but I guess she has to go in C. Do I need to explain why I'm putting Tucker in D? Alright, Salim the kid, not the homunculus. This kid is a dork, honestly, and I wish more kids were as enthusiastic and nice. Again, don't hide your passions. If you're excited about alchemy, go ahead. We didn't see much of... I feel like Salim and Pride had the same amount of screen time, but after you learn that Salim is Pride, it's like, oh, this was just a game, wasn't it? I guess I'll put him in C. Scar's brother. I like him a lot better in Brotherhood than O3. I just want to know, like, oh, he traveled around. Did he travel? Because he knew alchemy and alchemy. Or did he just go to a library and just basically look it up? Because if he did, he's pretty book smart. I would not have the patience to research that. I feel like, again, he could have been a lot higher of a tier where he's just struggling because lack of screen time. Same thing with... Oh, I didn't bring you to put him in D. Winry's mom, you can go right there. Ooh, Hawkeye. I love her. She is amazing. She is a perfect balance of... I don't really know how to say. I would say blunt, I guess. And she gets her work done, but she also knows to differentiate between work and play. Like, she'll work hard and keep Mustang in line. She gets her own stuff done. She even goes out practicing sometimes. And then we also see as she kind of has, like, a laid-back fun side. Like, when she hangs out with Rebecca and stops by to visit her friends. Like, when she visited Havoc at the hospital. I'm going to put her in A. Pinako. I think I'm just going to have to put her in C just because while she is an amazing character, she, again, just suffers from lack of backstory and or lack of screen time. I feel like everyone in C, except for the panda, is only in C because of lack of screen time or backstory. Like, I don't need to know everyone's birth town, favorite color, and last meal they ate to have enough information, but there are some things that I wish that they elaborated on. Panina, I don't know why, I just really like her. I want to put her in C because she basically falls into the same issue as Shezka, where both of them are awesome characters, but they fall off hardcore. I guess I'm gonna have to put her there. But if I had to, she'd be a high C because I like her more than her and Shizuka. I feel like belong, like I said, in the same boat, so they'd be high C's. I need to go to the bathroom. Hold on.
11 minutes later.
I am back, and there was a silverfish waiting for me. I do not like sharing with my bathroom with unexpected guests, so the silverfish went for a swim. Anyways, Olivia Armstrong. She is I'd say she's a wild card, but she's so determined, and there's just something very, what's the word? There's just something that really draws me to her. I don't know. I think it's just because she's such a firm and strong leader. And also, she just seems to understand, like, even if I die, you need to continue, whether that's her family, her soldiers at Briggs. She just knows that you can't let one person's death stop you from what you need to do. I think that would have been a really interesting conversation after Hughes died for Mustang and Olivier to have this conversation. Because she doesn't really like Mustang, and I don't know if she knew Hughes. That would have been an interesting one, too. But I am going to place her in A. Alright, Miles. He is someone that I think got just, again, he was, didn't get too much screen time. But there's something very driven and devoted about him that it's just hard not to admire him. But does he deserve to go in A or B? I think I'm going to put him in B. Because I don't think I like him more than anyone in B, but I like him way more than anyone in... I think I'm going to go back and rearrange these when I'm done in order of operations. Mei Chang. Again, she's also someone who's very passionate and driven, but there's just something about her that I just don't like. I don't know what it is. I think it's the... She understands the seriousness and the weight of the mission she's on, but there's also just something really naive about her, too. Maybe it's also just, again, she's out already trying to find a boyfriend, and she's, 8. But I don't want to hold that against her, because, a lot of people are like that. I like her better than... No, do I? No, I think she's actually going to go in C. I was going to say I like her more than people in C, but that's not true. C's actually gained a lot of people, but I feel like a lot of them are misplaced. Maria Ross, I like her a lot, but I think she'd probably be near my top for B, so I'm gonna, where'd you go? I'm gonna put her next to Miles. Lust, again, I like her more in Brotherhood than in 03, which is weird because she had more screen time in 03. There's something a lot more solid and had more of a direction with her, I guess, to me, in Brotherhood. But she's going to have to go and C because of the lack of screen time. I don't know. I said C. I don't know where I'd put her in C or what else I would have done with her. I don't think we needed a revival like how Greed was, but I think she should have stuck around probably for at least 2 or 3 more episodes and maybe had one more good action scene or something. Ling Yao. Every time I see him, every watch through I get, I like him more and more. I don't mind characters, again, who know how to, separate work from fun, like Hawkeye, but I don't like his laziness, I guess, or unwillingness to help, which, again, he doesn't really have time to be tangled in another country's problems, but, after he indirectly helps tear apart Rush Valley after his guards attack the brothers, he doesn't want to help clean up at all, but yet he doesn't have any issue pretending to be a normal, NPC peasant and quote bowing down to other people, as Fu says. I think I'm gonna have to place him in... I'm gonna put him in B, but he'll probably be a high B. Lanfan, you can go right next to Ling. Dr. Knox, I know I've heard he got more character development in the manga, which I haven't read all the way through. He was only in 4 or 5 episodes, and he only had a handful of lines. Again, he's only going in C just because lack of time, I guess. Lack of development or whatever. Not every character needs to have a whole arc dedicated around them where they rise and then fall and then rise again. Speaking of rising, you did not rise again. I'm going to put you in D because you make poor life decisions. Okay. Kimberly, if you guys know, he's one of my favorites. You're going in S. Kane Fury. I feel like I need to explain Kimberly because I just stuck him up there, but now, okay, this might actually fall into the category of hear me out cake, but I don't need to explain the brothers. If I do, you need to go watch the show again, and you're probably watching the wrong video, and this list is probably very backwards for a lot of people. Kimberly is very smart, and he knows what he likes and what he doesn't like. He gets the job done, and he doesn't put up with crap. Or very rarely, one of the only times he does is when Winry forces herself to come on that mission in the snow. He also has a lot of really good one-liners. He just always, despite loving his job and being an absolute chaotic piece on the board, he just doesn't seem to be having a good time. He always just looks so done with everything. He's a fun character. Kane Fury, it's weird that he's one of my favorites in Mustang Squad after Hawkeye. I know a lot of people are going to say Havoc. Fury and Breda were robbed of screen time because it all went to Hawkeye and Havoc, which again, they're both good characters, so I don't really mind. But besides going to Xerxes with Edward, Breda didn't get much time, and besides fighting Gluttony with Hawkeye, he didn't really get a lot of time. He was just a fun character, I guess, that you could just put him anywhere. Hold on. We're missing more characters. Where's Fallman? Excuse me, we're missing characters. I might have to go. I'm going to. Hold on, I'm just going to Google this again. Ooh, they're using the title cards. I already like this one better. I think this is actually. Hold on. I want to see what these missing squares are. It feels like unlocking characters in a fighting game. I haven't gotten these characters yet. Oh boy. Do I have to guess who these are? Oh my gosh. My brain is going to have an aneurysm. Because there's Lang and Lanfan. I don't see... There's Greed, but I'm not seeing Greedling. I am not seeing... I see older Pinocchio, which she stays pretty consistent. I'm not seeing the animals in here, which is interesting, but I do see Nina. What are these missing squares? They don't even load. When in doubt, you just refresh the apps. Refresh the app. Refresh the... Hey, there we go. Boom. Okay. I think this is everyone. But that's what I said last time. I'm gonna exit out of this one. So this whole thing ended up being about an hour and 20 minutes. That's the length of a short movie, and I didn't think you guys had the attention span to watch that, so I think I'm going to break this into 2 parts and have this be 1 and the next part be video 2. I just don't know if they're going to be posted back to back, or this will be this week's video and then the next part might be a different week's video. We will see, but I hope you guys check out that second one when it comes around. I will post the links to both videos on each one, so if you want to watch them, you can. But until then, thank you for watching this, and I hope you have a good one.